Hey guys, it's me again. I have questions 7 and 8 for this discussion. Question 7 reads, what guidelines does the book give regarding praying for patients, for healthcare providers, initiating prayer, praying for patients who ask for prayer, or praying for patients silently without their permission? I thought it was really interesting that the study found that prayer is actually the second most common way to control pain in the hospital, besides pain medication. So this is something that is frequently needed, but maybe isn't being adequately addressed today. So their recommendations were that it usually is inappropriate to pray for a patient unless that patient has asked you to do so, and or you know this patient, you have a long-standing relationship with this patient, and you know that this is something that they would want you to do. Bottom line is that making sure that you are praying for the good of the patient, so you are praying for them to be better, praying for what they want you to be praying for, not for what you want to pray for. So if you are going to pray for a patient, it recommends that you always follow the patient's lead, so you don't take the lead, you just follow them. It kind of talks about how the clergy has been trained to do so, and this is really helpful. So if you aren't sure on how to do this, maybe referring to a chaplain or a clergyman would be an appropriate move to make in this point. If a patient asks you for prayer, again, follow their lead, simplest recommendation. And if they ask you to do it and you don't feel comfortable with doing it, they recommend that you can either stand by their side in silence or offer to go get a chaplain, and maybe the chaplain could lead you guys in prayer. If you wish to decline, that is okay, but you need to provide an explanation to the patient as to why you wish to decline. You can't just say no, refuse, and leave. Let them know maybe it doesn't agree with your beliefs, or that's not something you feel comfortable with, but you would be happy to find someone that would feel comfortable with that. And regarding silent prayers without their permission, the book states really that these prayers should meet the same recommendations as praying with the person's permission or praying in their presence, but that some people may not feel comfortable with you praying for them, so you shouldn't probably do this unless they've asked for it. But if you wish to do this on your own anyways, you need to make sure that you're respecting the good of the patient. You are praying for them to get better. You aren't praying for them to become more religious or to find God when they die. Just making sure that you are practicing the beliefs that the patient would want. Next question I had was question 8, and it says, what recommendations does the book make regarding taking part in healthcare practices that challenge or goes against what you believe is ethical? So the book in this discussion really talked about an example that is a special case of miracles where a family comes in and one of their family members is on life support, and they refuse to take their family member off life support because they truly believe that their family member will get better, that God will make a miracle for them. So the recommendations the book made were that you need to honor this family members or the patient's obligation if possible. If you do not believe in their opinion, it is not your right to tell them that their opinion is wrong. But you may need to assess whether this is a case of denial on the family member, or if it's just deep religious faith that something will actually work out. If it is deep religious faith, then you, as a clinician, need to acknowledge that science does have a limit. There have been many proven cases of miracles that scientifically have no reason for people to get better, but they do. So you need to acknowledge that that does happen. Although it may be infrequent, it is still possible. In this situation, the book recommends maybe working with a chaplain, working with the family and the chaplain together to see what your possible outcomes are. You need to respect the patient's beliefs and find common ground somewhere between your perspective and their perspective, and realize what other implications that these beliefs may hold. So if the family is if these patients are on life support and the family is refusing to take them off because of religious beliefs? Is there some other religious aspects that they may want? May they want some kind of ritual or religious ceremony performed at the hospital? If they do, you need to help them, allow them to make that happen. If they would like a chaplain to be invited to prayer, you can associate that facilitation. And when really talking with the family, you can help them understand that really that it is your call as a healthcare provider. If you're pulling someone off life support, that is between the body of the patient, the healthcare providers, and the responsibility does not fall on the family member. It's not the family member deciding that they are going to kill their family member. It is just making the healthcare provider's choice based off science and what they believe is going to be best for that family member. So overall, you really need to be able to respect your patient's beliefs. Even if you do not agree with them, you don't need to argue with them. Find some common ground and see if there's some way that you could work it out. Bye.